should you consider hypnosis over talk therapy? Let's dive into this because there are some aspects of this that we get to tease out to see when it is and it's not appropriate to choose hypnosis over talk therapy. However, with most issues, hypnosis is going to be far superior to get you the results that you are looking for. If you have ever walked into a room, you've been in a really good mood. And then by being around the people and maybe their emotional state isn't the same as yours, very quickly you begin to notice your own mood is shifting. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm inviting you to help me shift the energy on November 5th. I decided to put 4 heart and soul group hypnosis sessions on my calendar for November 5th. They're free. All you got to do is show up and enjoy. I am in Central Time Zone. They will be at 7, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., and 7 p.m. Sign up. It's absolutely free. You can join whichever session meets your needs. The link is thealignedheartproject.com/workshop. The link will be in the show notes. So let's get into this. Should you choose hypnosis over talk therapy? Now, I've had many clients over the years who have worked with talk therapists for a decade or more. And then they would reach out to me. Maybe they would reach out for some peripheral issue, or maybe they would reach out to me because the thing that they've been working on in therapy, they've kind of stalled out. They got a little bit of results, but now they're just rehashing the same old stuff year after year, and nothing is changing. Now, it's very important to note that if you have an acute mental health issue, or if you're dealing with something bipolar, borderline, narcissistic personality disorder, if you've had a trauma that has never ever been addressed in any way, and you don't have the coping mechanisms, or there's some sort of paranoid, schizophrenic, or delusional component, or you're suicidal, therapist is the way to go. And if you're actively suicidal, call a crisis hotline, call 911, get support. There are people who can help you through that. However, if you reach the point where you're just stalled out and nothing else is changing, hypnosis is a great option when you're talking about things like people pleasing. You find that you overcommit. You keep getting frustrated because you are repeating patterns in your life. If you have a talk therapist on retainer so that you can just talk about frustrations in life and alleviate stress, procrastination, periods of lack of motivation, boundaries, please consider hypnosis. And here's why. Talk therapy does not go to the level of belief. And all of those issues that you're experiencing in your current reality, somewhere deep inside, there is a belief, and it could be a coping mechanism that was based on an accurate perception where at the time it was serving a good, healthy purpose, and it's just not anymore. Or it could be based on a misperception in your mind for whatever reason feels it's helping you to run this interference. Talk therapy doesn't get to the belief level. And when something is a repeating pattern in our life, it's not a superficial belief. The thing that happened that caused us to develop the symptom or become aware of the symptom of people pleasing or overcommitting or seeking external validation, whatever the case may be. The thing that brought our attention to it might be recent, but where the original seed of that was planted may not be. So you could be hashing out something that's recent until the cows come home, and that's not what the problem is. It just brought your attention to a problem that's been underneath the surface and out of your awareness. Our mind, we're 3 to 5% aware of what's going on in our mind, and 95 to 97%, we are completely unaware. So these things run underneath the surface. They don't just magically appear one day. Our mind has been functioning, processing from this perception. It's just now gotten to a point that it's being really obnoxious at getting your attention. This is why I've had multiple clients. I had a client last year said, I never would have accomplished in 10 years of therapy what you and I have accomplished in me feeling safe and secure enough in myself. And for me to know that I'm truly loved to the extent that I could stop doing everything for everybody to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do so they would love me. So it was about boundaries and to stop caretaking everyone. Another had dealt with a lot of people pleasing issues. 10 to 13 years of therapy, and have just been spinning wheels in therapy over and over and over, and was so frustrated that this pattern continued to repeat. Now, I have to be honest, sometimes, depending on what's going on in a person's life, sometimes these things can get a little messy before they get better, because we have to uncover the pattern before we can shift what is underneath it. Most people, well, let me back that up. I wouldn't say most people, many people have some undercurrent of experiences where they've questioned themselves, they've doubted themselves. And I mean, this could go all the way back to childhood, right? We set perceptions and beliefs from the moment we're born. So just imagine when you're a kid, you don't have context or reality. And kids, by nature, just pure human growth and development, kids are very egocentric. Everything's turned inward. Everything that happens outside around them is filtered through the lens of, what does this mean about me? Because their brain is building their model of reality for what is safe and secure. So if you have kids and they're under the age of 5 or 6 and they're very egocentric, that's why. They're not doing it to be annoying or anything else. That's why. But because they don't understand how the world works, that's how we also get misperceptions. And it's not those events that change our life unless they're based in trauma, but it is the perception that's built, and then that perception persists. We continue to look at life through that lens. So then we end up having events that reinforce that because we continue to have that belief. So when you believe that you have to do something or be something to get love and affection, when you always question yourself because you have some false perception, those are things that talk therapy is not going to address. And they don't have to be big, ugly things. I have had people reach out to me and say, I'm really nervous about doing this work. What if there is something there that I blacked out? What if there's something there that I forgot about? And I'm like, the majority of the time, it is something that is so benign that you're like, wow, how did I make this misperception? But it's just because we didn't have the knowledge and wisdom to make the correct perception. And some people are so surprised that such little things can show up later in life, because it might take 20, 30, 40 years before we have an event in our life that triggers these feelings and emotions, and the mind strings these things together. It's emotional resonance. It takes that pattern, it goes, oh boy, we really don't like this. And then we get into experiencing behaviors that we don't like. They get in the way of what we want in life. Now, in all of that, probably one of the most beautiful things is how quickly the shifts can come. I had a client once that we connected. We did a session. It was a great session. There was some good feelings afterwards. We met for the second session. There were more good feelings afterwards, but at that point we had revealed where the negative thoughts began. So if you have negative thinking, if you have negative self-talk, hypnosis is great. Therapy, those negative thoughts are based in beliefs, not so much. But we uncovered where the negative thinking started. And then a week later, we had a third session. And when we had that third session, we literally cleaned up the timeline. We were able to take adult perception of reality about what was happening in the situation. And in hypnosis, use that logical knowing of what the truth was and replace that misperception. That's the power of root cause hypnosis. You take your logical knowing of what reality is of the past. You know, they say hindsight's 2020. Yes, babe, we take that hindsight as 2020 and we correct the misperception. And we did that, and all the dominoes fell down, so to speak. And they said to me, oh, I feel like I was so much deeper this session. I said, well, explain to me what you mean. You felt like you were so much deeper because I covertly assess where my clients are in every session. It's the only way I can do effective work in a directed root cause situation is I have to know where my client is, or what I'm doing is not going to have an impact. So I knew it was the same every session. Well, I just feel so much better after this session. I'm like, of course you do. The last two times we were doing some revealing work and we left you in a better place when we were done. But today we cleaned up all the beliefs. Like today we actually neutralized the belief and knocked down the dominoes and changed your internal foundation of your ego when it comes to your self belief. That's what changed. So, what she meant was the change was deeper, but many people will connect that with the hypnosis being deeper. And the hypnosis was not deeper. We actually made a massive shift in this person's ego, in the foundation. And we brought that through to the present. When this type of work is done correctly, you don't need hypnosis audios. I'm going to tell you that really just sometimes I wonder what is going on. If you have a root cause session, you should not have to listen to hypnosis audios. You should not have to listen to hypnosis audios because you're breaking the old belief, you're laying a new belief down, and there's a suggestion component. In terms of working on the root cause issue and eliminating the negative self-talk, overcoming people pleasing, setting boundaries, those things, I'm going to tell you, I have done thousands of hours of sessions. I have helped people move through things that they thought they were going to have to live with the rest of their life because therapy had failed them. And I never provided a single hypnosis audio to those people who got those shifts. They didn't need it because we did the work right. We used a systematic process to move through those limiting beliefs, those hidden blind spots, the things that were slowing them down, the mental handbrake on getting to where they wanted to be as fast as where they wanted to go. Because not all of my clients are overcoming trauma. Not all of my clients are dealing with extremely frustrating behaviors that have to do with not getting where they want to go. Some of my people just want to get where they're going faster. They know they have to up level their identity, and they want to identify any beliefs that they have that could slow that progress and clear it out of the way so they have smooth sailing. There's no mental handbrake. There's no sluggishness. There's no stalling out. And we do that by doing what I do with every client that I do extensive work with, and that is identity work. Identity work. That is how we can uncover the gap between where you are and where you want to be to get you there. So, if you've been thinking about hypnosis, you're like, well, I have a therapist. I really don't think I need hypnosis. I do hope that this has answered your questions around that. Now, I have a beautiful hypnosis. If you are looking for self-love, if you are looking to build your self-esteem, and you're not certain if you want to do the one-on-one work, I have the Inner Confidence Accelerator. It's a hypnosis workshop that I did as a group hypnosis several years ago, but it has inner child work in it. And it is something that is structured in a way that you can do it effectively on your own and then decide how you want to move forward from there. You can purchase the workshop. It's usually $197. Right now, I'm doing it for $97. It's lifetime access to it. Or you can join the Catalyst Audio Vault, which is $27 a month, and you get access to it while you're a member of the Audio Vault. And you can go in and you can listen to it. You probably thinking to yourself, but Penny, you just talked about not having to listen to hypnosis audios every day. The Inner Confidence Accelerator is not your typical hypnosis. You're not going to listen to it more frequently than once a week or maybe even once every 2 weeks. Because when you shift these beliefs in the absence of me to enhance the integration, you only want to do it once a week or once every 2 weeks. Now, sometimes when I work with clients, we'll meet twice a week for 3 weeks and we're done. And then other clients where we're doing massive identity shifts, we will work together for 8 to 10 weeks and maybe once a week, sometimes twice a week. It looks very different. But in the Catalyst Audio Vault, you not only get access to the Inner Confidence Accelerator, but there are other hypnosis audios in there that you can use for light emotional clearing, overcoming people pleasing, other audios to just build new habits of thinking around self-esteem. And there's everyone's favorite, the quantum sleep hypnosis, where you can put your mind to work for you while you sleep because your subconscious mind is active. And there's probably a little more to sleep than people think. If you're like, forget all of that, Penny, I want to know how to work with you, go to the website, book a call with me. We will connect and see what that looks like to get you your custom outcome, because the way I work with each client is unique to the client. We don't do carbon copy anything here in the one-on-one work. Oh, and if you haven't already, be sure to go to thealignedheartproject.com/workshop and sign up for the free hypnosis workshop next week. No, there will not be replays. This is a live event only. There are 4 times throughout the day to help accommodate everyone's schedule. See you next week.